I would like to talk about my Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act. You know, in the 1990s, I was recruited and asked by the National Militia to become their chief of staff of the Theater Command Militia, the National Militia. What I faced was, at that time, a huge buildup, probably the largest buildup in modern history of the militia. And it was very concerning to me. How this happened was I went up to the Montana-Freeman standoff. It was after Waco and Ruby Ridge. It's in 1996-97 that I was recruited into the militia at a very high-ranking position as a general. I noticed that we had rogue militias. We had people that were potential domestic terrorists, and then hate groups. And then some people that just, you did not want to have access to guns. And a lot of these people, I ended up working with the veterans in the militia and the other generals to make sure they were not involved. So I've done a Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act. And what that is a regulation act of guns. And we're pro-guns, we're pro-Second Amendment. But on this, it's to educate people. It's not a magic wand. Most people don't realize what they're getting into when they purchase a gun. And what I mean by that is being responsible for it, to maintain it, to secure it, and knowing how to use it. Every year, a significant amount of people get their guns taken away from the people that is assaulting them. And so you do not want to be carrying around a weapon to give to the person who is going to be robbing you, or even worse, agendas. So on this act, when you get licensed, I expect that you're also taught how to treat a bullet wound. That's going to be in this gun act. On assault weapons should be licensed and regulated and insured. And I do expect from this gun act that we're going to insure all assault weapons that are purchased. And what that'll do is the sheriff is going to know when, from the insurance companies, that you just turned in a claim that's stolen if you haven't reported it already. Also, it'll allow you to keep a good maintenance on that gun. And on the Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act, a lot of these domestic terrorists that have went and assaulted people in the schools and the churches and so on, like we had here, the gentleman, or not the gentleman, like we had in Texas, the guy that went and shot up the people in the church. This could have been prevented if the military would have informed the sheriff of who he had in his county. I expect a special task force with the Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act in every sheriff's department, to where they are given the proper information, whether it's the FBI, whether it's the military, whether it's the Texas Rangers, that they know who the dangerous people are in their county and if they have access to guns. Also, I want the posse comitatus with the Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act. And this is for sheriffs to recruit volunteer deputies. The deputies will be volunteer. They'll be, the training will be provided by the sheriff's department, but they will buy their own equipment at a discounted rate through the sheriff. And also, I expect them to have basic EMT skills with defibrillators. We want to save lives. This is going to give us a quicker response time, and to where they're talking about some of putting guns in the teacher's hands, not a good idea necessarily. But what would be a good idea is that those teachers are part of the posse comitatus, and they are trained as deputies. Now that can be done. Also, I know that we can train dogs to be part of these security forces at the schools, and if something happens, you send the dogs in that are trained on search and destroy on the person that is in there with a gun. There's a variety of different things we can do. We also will be doing on all counties a study through this Don't Mess with Texas Gun Act on who is at risk of committing future gun crimes. These people will be given a special rehabilitation course that they'll be paid to go into, and it's been done in California. In California, the city that did that had the highest murder per capita rate, and it brought it down significantly. They identified 17 people were most likely to commit 70% of the gun crimes in the future. These 17 people was put in this program, and only a couple of them were arrested for only misdemeanors later on after that. We can identify and rehabilitate a lot of these people and find out what is bringing them into the direction of doing such horrible, horrible acts. My message to you will be responsible for your guns. They're not magic wands, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that you have a right to them. Thank you, and God bless Texas.